So here's the Type 99 that I showed in a short a couple of days ago. I just purchased this rifle. I thought I'd go over it a little bit before I start cleaning it up and fixing the few things that it needs. Based on the markings and the research that I've done, this symbol makes it a Kokura Arsenal. And this symbol makes it a Series 20, and then the serial number is in between. This rifle does still have the Type 99 markings. You know, this symbol over here is the type, and then 9 and 9. It's a whole thing about the Japanese calendar and all that. It does have an intact mum. It does have the aerial gunnery sight, so that's a plus. And it does have the front monopod, so that's a plus. And you know, it's a typical Arisaka, you know, the type of condition that we would expect to see. There are a few negatives with this rifle, so let's start at the front with the negatives and move back. Now, it has not been cut up or anything like that, so that's good, but there have been some minor modifications that I'll need to correct. First of all, the protective ears have been cut off of the front sight. The front sight just has a single pin that's drifted through that holds the sight. I can easily press that out and replace the front sight to get the wings on a new piece. And I think they have probably filed down this pyramid style front blade. That's easily replaceable as well. Very minimal cost there. The cost to fix this should be only $30 or so. These parts are around. It's just a matter of getting them. This one being an early, it does have the full length cleaning rod with the square type retainer, so that's nice. That's all there and intact. The center ring with the monopod is still in place, which, you know, we get a little bit of bending there. I think that's typical. This front sight, front sling swivel is a little bit egg-shaped, which most of the pictures I see, they are a bit. I think that typically this radius is tighter than this radius. There's a little extra bowed here. I don't know what I'll do, if I'll straighten that out a little bit or just leave it. We'll see. As far as the wood condition, I think I'll simply clean it, maybe some wax or whatnot, get it back to where it's a little bit more even in appearance. When we get back here to the rear sight, here's one of the problems. This is an inexpensive fix as well. For some reason, somebody didn't like peep sights, and for the battle sight portion, they filed off the top of the peep sight and made it into just a round trench. It certainly still works, but that's not good. I've already sourced a Kokura Arsenal leaf to replace it. I'll just take the pieces off of this leaf, populate them on the other one, put it back on. You know, I don't know everything there is to know about these rifles, so I don't know how to tell what series the leaf is. There are some markings on these in this area here, so I'll try to look at that a little bit, but I'm not going to worry about that a lot right now. I'm just going to put the different leaf on there to get a rear sight that's back intact. I can move all of the aerial sights to the other piece. It's not a problem at all. That'll be an easy job as well. We get back here to the grip area, and this is probably the worst part of the rifle. I think that somebody was trying to stylize it, get a little bit better grip or whatnot, and they carved some a ridge into this area, and I think they may have sculpted it a little bit, and they screwed on with a single wood screw a couple of, it feels like leather, it's kind of soft, pieces here to try to get a little bit of a pistol grip. So this will certainly come off and clean up okay. I can't do anything with this at all, in this area being scalloped a little bit. As far as butchering up a military stock, they didn't hurt it terribly, but I would rather have this be original. At least it's not chopped off and shortened and that type of thing, but I'll be looking for a replacement stock. That's probably going to be the biggest challenge. I'll just keep my eyes open. I think what I'll do is clean this one up the best I can and use it as is for now until I come across a reasonable replacement stock. And on the rear end here, the sling swivel's gotten egged out a little bit. These are replaceable, very inexpensive, or I may be able to fix this oval a little bit. I think these are just very soft and change shape quite easily. And then another challenge that we have is there's an extra screw here, just a wood screw put through the butt plate into the stock. And after really looking at this and thinking about it and looking at the residue and whatnot that's on this butt plate, I should say, and the rifle had this leather wrap on there, and if you look at the way that this has some marks in the back, I believe that what the deal was is that they had put some sort of a recoil pad over the top of the steel butt plate and had a screw through that pad, whether it was rubber or whatever it was, to maybe try to tame the rifle a little bit. And you can see where this wrap was on, the wood is a little bit drier beneath there. I think I can clean this up and get some wax in that, and it should be just fine. You know, typical two-piece type 99 stock. The two pieces are dovetailed together. I'll slip that all apart, clean things up and all that until I come up with another stock for the rifle. I think what I'll do for now is I'll take this screw out because it obviously doesn't belong there. I'm going to be left with a hole in this butt plate. Replacement butt plates are inexpensive too, you know, less than $20. That won't be a problem. But, you know, this is something that someone modified on this rifle. So really, the worst part is the stock, you know, where they carved it here. I could live with the putting a replacement butt plate, I should say, on it. That would not be a big issue at all. This here's a no-go for me. We'll source a new stock and see what we can come up with. The handguard is just fine. So really, what it needs, you know, to make it okay with me is it needs a stock to correct this. I need to replace that sight leaf, and I need to get the new front sight base and get that installed in a new pyramid on there, and just some basic cleanup. I haven't done anything to this rifle yet, except for I did run some patches down the bore. It looks good. These have a chrome lined bore. You can see I don't know if I'll be able to catch it on the camera, but you can see a bit of chrome ring around the, you know, around the bore here. The muzzle is you know, a little bit, no, it's not that bad, but you can see the ring of the chrome. It is shiny inside, and I do see the rifling. I did kind of clean the chamber just to make it sure it was okay, and I did chamber a piece of brass in it, and it feels real good for typical 7.7, I think. So I think that's all going to be fine. So I think the next thing is to start working on cleaning it up. I need to slip it out of the stock, see what I'm dealing with here at the stock line. Hopefully there's not a lot of pitting. This rifle doesn't have much grease or carbon or anything like that. It's got a lot of dust. If you look here, you can see there's, you know, dry dirt, and the bore was just full of dust and fuzz and stuff like that. It came out pretty well, even just with the dry patch, and then I ran a couple of Hoppies patches through it. But, you know, operationally it seems fine. I've tried the trigger. I've, you know, tried the safety, you know, the knob on the palm safety here. That all seems to be working correctly. Floor plate's good. It's lost a fair amount of its blue on the bottom from being handled, but we'll just we'll clean it up and see what happens with it. If there's rust beneath, we'll steam and boil and what's appropriate to convert it back to black. But all in all, I'm very happy with the rifle. The price was very acceptable for what it is. I've got something to work with here. So the stock to replace is going to add a significant cost to the rifle. I'll keep my eyes out, try to find one as you know, economically as I can, but I'm not afraid to spend a little money on it to make it right. The other parts that I need, this rear sight leaf, I've cut $12 in that plus shipping, so that's cheap. The front sights, that looks like it's going to be, you know, maybe I might have $15 or so in the pyramid, and I'm not 100% sure what it's going to cost me on the base, but I'll get one. I haven't found a lot of them loose. I found several barrels that have sights, but you know, I would certainly buy a barrel to take the sight off and put a proper sight on this. That wouldn't bother me a challenge at all, because, you know, barrels are less than $100. If I have to spend that to get a barrel with a good sight, base, and blade, I would certainly do that and just take them off and put them back on this rifle and get it all cleaned up. But all of the other fixtures and fittings are looking fine. I think I can work with what I've got and keep it as it is. It's a shame that they carved on the stock. Like I said, the screwing these pucks, if you will, on here to make a pistol grip, that's easily reversible. I can take care of that, no problem. I'll be left with a hole in the bottom that I'll have to plug, but I can make that work. And I need to get a little wax in it back here where it's dried a little bit from having that wrap on there, and keep the search on for a replacement stock. I can't do anything about where this is all carved here and reshaped in this area, so it's a bit of a shame that they did that to it, but that is what it is, and it we'll get it back to life and I'm happy to have it. I think it's going to be a fun rifle to experiment with. One of my friends has already come up with some ammo and some brass and whatnot, so we have some things to play with there. And I did find some dies in stock and brass in stock that I can order. I do have the Lee loader that I can fool with this rifle too, so that'll give me something to play around with and operationally check it. Maybe start out with some gentle things just to be sure, but I don't have anything that concerns me. The bolt is all working real well. You know, it's controlled feed like a 98 Mauser would be. I snapped brass down into the magazine, and it comes up under the extractor just like it's supposed to. And these are cock on close, so they're a little bit different than a 98. So they're, you know, a controlled feed with cock on close. It feels real good. I think it's going to be a serviceable rifle once I do a little bit of cleanup work on it. I wanted to show it before I started working on it. I haven't decided if I'm going to make video of the process of cleaning it up or replacing parts. It's something I got to think about. I'm a little bit anxious to get it out, so I might do just some basic cleaning and put a couple rounds together and just shoot it just to see what it feels like. It's going to be very similar to 7.65 Argentine, same bullet diameter in general, similar case capacities. It's also very similar to 303 British, which I don't have any experience with at all, so I can't really compare that, but it won't be any problem to fix the sight leaf once it gets here. I can certainly press that front base off with no problem. I think I'm going to have to live with the stock for just a little while until I find one. There are some available. I don't particularly care for the prices. We'll watch it and see what becomes available and what I can do. So if you're interested in seeing the process of taking it apart, cleaning it, replacing parts or whatnot, I will entertain that option. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. I'll get this video out. We'll look at the comments and see what people think. But thanks for watching the couple of shorts that I've done about the Type 99. I'm excited to have the Japanese rifle, and I'll see you soon.